the Cajun capital of the world.
I'm the average Lafayette, Louisiana kid.
See, I'm back on my...
Hey, fellas. Hey, Brady Review said, congratulations. Say what's up, y'all. Yeah!
People that have courage don't have no extra gene. There's no difference in you. The difference is, are you going to sit down when it's time to stand up?
All right, Cajuns fans, we're pleased to welcome in head coach of the Troy Trojans, Coach Skylar Meade. Coach, it's good to see you again, man. I feel like you're becoming a friend of the show 2 years in a row. We're happy to have you on here.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on again. I don't know if the Cajun fans are going to appreciate or not appreciate me being on. I guess only time will tell, but and I'm excited. I told you guys this before. I love when there's enough passion to do anything to talk about baseball and baseball in our league, as you guys do a great job of. So I'm fired up to be on here.
I appreciate it, man. Speaking of passion, man, our two teams went at it last year pretty good, but I'm telling you, in the stands, you remember that little fight we had behind home plate last year that made John Boy? I mean, that was pretty cool.
I do. Anytime John Boy is doing something on the game that's not on the field is not necessarily the greatest deal, but I do certainly remember that. It's quite the evening. I went from getting info on that and having to do some stuff with that to about an hour later, tornado was rolling through our house. And
I remember that. Yeah.
So, and man, I tell you what, I really mean this too. The fans, I mean, I didn't really put much out on it, but I know how things get leaked out. The fans that were waiting after to talk to us and come and, tell myself and pass on to my family, like, hey, like we're thinking of you guys. What can we do? People were saying, what can we do? I'm like, I don't even know. I haven't seen how bad it is, but it was very appreciated. It's the kind of thing you don't really forget, regardless of, look, we're all competing and you guys want Louisiana to win. I want more than anything in my life for Troy to win. Right? Like we all want that in the moment, but we're all just people. And I was incredibly appreciative of how everyone was down there. It was really astonishing, to be quite frank.
Well, good. And I'm telling you, some of our fans will be asking you about that when they show up this weekend as well. So be ready for it. They're going to want to know how you're doing. Speaking of, for those who aren't going, how did that all turn out? You guys all settled now, I'm assuming, a year later?
So we, I'll make it a quick story. We get back from you guys probably about 3 a.m. and I was so curious. I was like, I gotta see. My family was not there when it happened, and so they were all good. But I went over 3 a.m. and checked it out, and it was way worse than I thought. To give some context, and we had nearly 200 trees on our property. We have about 3.5 acres, and one survived basically. There was 2 basketball goals under about 10 trees in my driveway. We don't have 2 basketball goals, just a disclaimer. So it was pretty wild. The videos and the pictures were crazy. We were out of our place for over 5 months. We moved into a little house in town that was me, my wife, our 2 boys, about 1,000-footer for a long time. But I think it was good for them to learn a little bit of figure it out. And my wife did amazing work to get us squared away and back in, and we're great. We have no issues, and everybody around this community was really good to us and checking on us and helping us out during that. It was a long 5 months, but could have been a lot worse. It's just stuff, it's just stuff, just a house, and we're all set and all rolling now, just without trees. Now we see a lot of neighbors,
For better or worse, right? And by the way, coaches' wives are the unsung heroes of just regular, coaching situations and being away from home all this time that you have to spend on the road recruiting and with games and all that other stuff. So I'm sure she was one of the unsung heroes of the day.
Yes, I've made sure to try to sing as much as I can to do my part. But yeah, my wife's pretty incredible. She fortunately, number one, she gets it. Number two, like she was an athlete. She played basketball at Radford. So she's been in the hoops or in the sports world forever. And I mean, she's as invested as me. And I mean, you guys know how I am. I live and die with everything that goes on. And for us in college baseball, that's my life. It's all, I mean, I look at it from maybe a different lens than other people, but certainly having an A-plus wife in your corner does not hurt as you go through things such as that, or the normal, struggles or roller coasters that all coaches go through the course of a year and course of a season.
Well, speaking of course of the season, we're a little bit past the halfway point this season, and I know the Trojans aren't quite where you'd like them to be overall record-wise. You guys are sitting right there at 18-19 overall, but you're 8-7 in conference, which we're going to talk about the Sun Belt Conference, man. You look at the fact that you're 8-7 and you're tied for third place. You got to feel like all of your goals are still ahead of you, especially after your performance against Texas State last weekend where you swept the doubleheader. You got to be feeling okay despite the overall record where you are in conference right now.
It's as if you've have an insight into what we're preaching to our team and making sure their mindsets are. Look, I know you guys know the numbers and what we've done with our schedule is, and I know some can maybe have a schedule that it could rate even higher, but we've challenged ourselves at a level that is unprecedented. I'm on a regional advisory committee call for the NCAA tournament this year. They're probably not going to like having me on there because I can be a bit sarcastic over what we've dealt with last couple of years, but that's neither here nor there. But I'm on there. I feel like I had to talk for 20 minutes because everybody we played is incredible. We started at Mercer, who's, at the top of their league and going to be a team that's in contention. Then Campbell comes to us. We played the 4 straight road weeks of SEC. So at Vandy, at Miss State, at Alabama, at Georgia. We play Georgia again. We have Bama at home again. We still have Jacksonville State coming to us. We go to UAB. We played East Carolina. We played Western Carolina, who's having their best year. We had Maryland come to us. I mean, it's a who's who, right? And so because of the challenge and because of honestly some of the challenges that I think maybe, look, we all have delusion as coaches, as competitors. You think things aren't going to be an issue. And whether it be some guys maybe handling their final year, whether it be we were replacing 86% of our innings, maybe thinking that would be a smoother operation than it is at times. Whatever it may be, you don't believe that. You just think that you're going to find a way. And at times we haven't. We've been a bit of an enigma. We can be as great as anybody in the country and we can be as sloppy as anybody. That being said, all that being said, we are now hitting, this is the final third. There are 19 games on the slate, 4 non-cons. By the way, 4 non-cons of all teams that have a sub 42 RPI. 5 conference weekends of obviously, you guys, and we know what you guys are, at Marshall, App State at home, South Alabama at home, at ULM. We have everything there. Everything. And I mean everything, not just conference, but from a national perspective. If we can play our best level of baseball, it's in front of us. If we don't, we have nobody to blame but ourselves. There's no excuses. As I told our players, we travel well, we feed you well. We've gotten to experience everything. We've experienced huge crowds. We've experienced smaller crowds on the road. We've had great home games. We've done everything. So we're in a position where the ball is in our court and it's our choice. And I believe truly, not coach speaking, you guys, we have a choice what happens the rest of the way. Obviously, you have to be aware of your opponent, just as you guys are unique. Obviously, what Coach Deggs does from an offensive perspective is there's things you have to be aware of, certainly. But it's Troy versus Troy the rest of the way. Can we play our best ball? Can we be positive in our mindset? Can we execute the game? Can we not screw up? I'll give you guys an analogy. You might think it's hokey, but I really I'm a really good ping pong player. Okay. I used to play ping pong all the time. That was something I did like hours a day back when I was younger. And to me, baseball is just ping pong, man. We all have guys that we played that, are really good. They hit it back and forth all the time. And then there's the guys that they like to smash the ball and they think it's cool and they smash one in your face. And then you remind them that, oh yeah, that just made the score 10-3. And you end up beating them 21-6. And they want to remember the 2 smashes. Well, you suck. You just got beat again for the 100th time in a row because I'm going to keep hitting that thing back. And for us, can we keep hitting the thing back? Can we play good? And then can we have a break or two? Can we create a break or two? That's going to be the story of Troy baseball 2026. We'll see, but none of our goals, none of our objectives, none of our dreams are out of reach. And I think that's the biggest thing that we have to continue to portray to our guys.
And I think you have to look, I mean, hearing what you're saying about the tough schedule that you have played and you have ahead of you. I mean, you guys are sitting at 64, and I know that's not really on the bubble as far as an at-large bid, but you keep playing and you keep winning these series against these higher RPI teams. I mean, you could be in that conversation come tournament time, right? And come Sunbelt Conference tournament time, and maybe you need to win 1 or 2 games instead of having to win the entire tournament. So I agree with you. I think you guys have a lot ahead of you for the rest of the season.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. And to me, it's like that belief and that knowledge of what and where you actually stand. While sometimes you need to focus on the exact specific moment, I do think sometimes it can be very motivating if you really realize where you're at. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of the thing that we're trying to blend with our guys. And I'm not saying that we're perfect because we're not perfect at anything, but that's what we're trying to be very objective and making sure they know. And if we do that, then I'm okay with wherever the chips fall following that.
Yeah, and I think you guys got a really good start to the rest of the season last weekend, as I mentioned, against Texas State, where you swept the doubleheader. Texas State can really swing the bat, and they're known for the long ball. Apparently, we fixed whatever offensive problems they had when they played us. But you guys did something we couldn't do once. You beat them twice. Talk to us a little bit about, I mean, it seems like the one consistent thing you guys are doing, you have 3 or 4 really good hitters that are dependable every single game, day in and day out. What was the key to getting the big win, series win over Texas State last weekend?
I think, our hearts were ripped out on Friday. We played a great game. For what it's worth, we got rain delayed in the 3rd inning for 3 hours. So we lost our starter. I wasn't going to roll him back out, Stubbs. But we had gotten out to a lead. It was 3-1 at the time. We had a reliever that was really, really good till it wasn't, right? He was rolling and then, dribbler walk and a ball gets out to left field, which can happen there quick. 328 footer and boom, you're tied. And then we take the lead and we just didn't close it out. So obviously that's a painful deal, but I think you saw the real heart and capability of our team the next day. We boat raced them the first game. Our starter was great, Tommy Egan. And then we kind of set the game of baseball back. We played horrible the first 2 innings. Walks, errors, not turning double plays, not catching balls, poor at bats with runners on. It was 7-3 game. And, we just drew a line in the sand, said it's time to figure it out. And we did. And obviously the game went long and there was extra innings and all that. But we just found a way. We just really did compete our tails off every second of that game. And I think there's 2 parts to that. It's like, one, anything can happen when you compete at that high of a level and you don't care what it looks like. But then there's also the part of, what if we can play good baseball within that? And I just think, once again, it's a choice that we have. It's focus. It's, if you do things right and you see it 95% of the time, what would the results be for you if you did it 98, 99% of the time, right? What causes you to have those little slips and blips in the radar? And but man, we competed our tails off. Our bullpen was incredible, and we found a way in a very, very tough and unique atmosphere that certainly San Marcos has.
Coach Tony Robichaux, the legendary Coach Tony Robichaux, always said the game is scripted for you. You just got to go out and play it. And I've heard you say a couple times, it's up to us. We we got to play the game. We got to play our game. It's us playing us. But all coaches say that because it's a truth. The game is scripted. You just got to execute. Everybody's got to execute their job. And I feel like I'm hearing that a lot from you today.
Well, and like I said, I know we've talked on here before, and I'm sure you guys hear how I speak. I like to be incredibly candid. I'm not going to come on here and try to cliche you. Like, that's not what I'm going to do. Like, I'm going to answer questions honestly, but I think everyone's dealing with it right now. I talk to other coaches. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I talked to 70 coaches during the course of a year, but you talk to a lot. And I just think there's this, maybe it's the first run of, there's so much transition of portal. There's not guys that have had experiences of success within a program as much. There's not as much maybe player leadership. And I don't mean that negatively on like how players lead. That's not, but when you can resort and look at things and understand like the sequences of a year, because you've been in a program, you see how things change, that can be portrayed to the next guy. But when 70% of all rosters, not saying all, but a lot, are new, they have nobody to look to. And then you start getting in your own head. And obviously you guys know this as baseball people. Like, if the brain gets in the way in this sport, that's a problem.
We were ranked 25 3 weeks ago, and now we're struggling to not be 500. I get it. I mean, it's not the talent problem. It seems like it's up here, right?
And no doubt. And then there's the part, and listen, I'm not going to, I've never professed to be a guru of it, but it's like, as a coach, then it's, okay, we got to continue to instill our confidence and have our bravado and embrace having some ego. But then there's the challenge part of like, hey man, sometimes like a guy needs that kick in the, rear end. And then you're like, some people are like, well, we don't want to lose this guy. It's like, what are we talking about? Like, we just if your players know, right? If your players know how much you are invested in them and that you are giving them the same effort every day, you can coach them however you want. That's one thing that if young coaches, when they do ask me advice or whatever, and like I said, hey, we're not perfect this year. We've never been perfect. I know we've done very well and we've won a boatload of games and we've made Troy a pretty exciting program. That I'll stand by, and we'll see where this Troy team ends up. But I know this, we coach our guys right. It's why people stay in our program. But that's like, I think everyone's kind of fighting those fights of like, how hard to go? Are we too soft? Are players able to articulate things? Are players not articulating the right things? Like, it's just it's interesting to say the least. And, we battle it like a lot of other people. I know Coach Deggs and we had an actual talk before the year, sort of in that vein about just battling. I don't want to say like cultural issues, but like, how do you have your culture? What Coach Deggs stands for in this league, which, I mean, you guys have heard me talk about. My respect is, there's not even enough time on this thing, but like what our culture is, what a Southern Miss culture is, like, how do you get that to be totally believed? And then the players take that belief and put it into action. Like that's the sweet spot that we all are trying to fight. Look, sometimes things just go well, right? Like, and there's not a lot of a script for it, but it's also like when you're in those pivotal moments that hit you. We've been in some pivotal moments the last couple of weeks, beating Ark State at home the way we did, and beating Texas State when you took the ultimate gut punch in the face after what happened Friday night. I think that should tell us anything's possible. And if our guys really understand that and don't get caught up in the wrong things, then they'll take the possible and make it possible.
Yeah, look, you talked about Arkansas State. There are no easy wins in the Sun Belt this year, man. I mean, even the bottom of the Sun Belt, I know there are a couple of teams struggling out there, but anybody can beat you any night in this league in any weekend. And we see that every single weekend. No,
there's no doubt about it. And look, it means you better strap it up. I said this long ago when I got in the league. I said, I hope my vision for the league, not that, I mean, obviously we've tried to do our part, and I think we have. I know we have. Like, you just got to, if everybody's on the top of their game and the chips are going to fall where they're supposed to, but this league should feel like the SEC did. I was in the SEC my previous 4 years before coming to Troy. It's like, hey man, if you don't play well, you're going to get beat. And it doesn't matter if you're at home, you're on the road. It doesn't matter. that every game is going to be a dogfight, and it's going to take the highest competitive excellence. And I think the league's doing a heck of a job of that this year. And I think the RPI numbers and all the other metrics would certainly allude to that. And I circle back to another point. I had this pulled up. I'm embarrassed because I do, but I don't really care. You talk about like where we sit and what goals are. And, just to use an example, and I may use this potentially, maybe not, we'll see. But, that Louisiana 23 team that got hot late, right? I remember us playing them when they were really in a good spot. And then after they played us and we had played very well that weekend in 23, they kind of went on a bit of a schneid and then a little bit of kind of leveling out. So the same weekend we're in now, their RPI was 77. Going into the final week, their RPI was 67. So nobody that doesn't think that it's possible based on how tough our schedule is and exactly looking at what Louisiana did and being able to do math, them getting into that championship game, don't tell me that we don't have everything in front of us. It's not even close. And by the way, this has nothing to do with Louisiana 23.
Right, of course.
Anyways, but guess what? We have a way harder schedule, meaning we have more opportunities. And Louisiana took advantage of their opportunities. Our goal and our dreams are to take advantage of ours.
Speaking of opportunities, and this is the last I'll talk about Texas State. I do want to say, and I know you can't speak much about this, but there is a question I have regarding it. The first base umpire took an opportunity to toss your first base coach during the doubleheader on Sunday or Saturday, which I thought was bullshit. But is he able to come back into and coach this weekend? Are we going to see him on the field against Louisiana?
It was just a one-game assistant sit-out that you had.
Gotcha.
That is correct.
I wasn't a fan of that, by the way. But you can't talk. I don't want you to get into it, but I'm just going to say I didn't like it. Let's move on to this week's game against UNO. You guys swung the bat so well. I think we can both agree getting down 5-0 in the first inning, having to go to your bullpen early really didn't get you off to a good start. You guys battled back. I watched a bit of that game. 14 guys left on base. I think you're probably kicking yourself in the ass right after the game saying we had so many opportunities to score guys. But talk a little bit about the game against the Privateers. I know it was a walk-off loss for you guys, but I'm sure there's a lot that you learned during that game.
No doubt. I mean, look, our guys fought. It wasn't for lack of that. But I think, we've talked a lot this year about just we've got to find a way to play complementary baseball. What is complementary baseball? Right. Complementary baseball is not finger pointing baseball. It's pick one another up baseball. And I think the perfect example, which is an unfortunate one, but we sit here and our starter, it didn't go well for Matt Dill, young freshman who we like a lot, had been good during the year. He throws a close 2-2 pitch. We don't get it. He walks the leadoff. So we're up 2-0 in the top of the first. You go into the bottom, you walk the leadoff. Not great. Okay. Whatever. Throws a bad pitch. Base hit in the 6 hole. So now it's first and second. Then throws a great pitch. We have the most routine double play in the history of double plays with a guy that runs a 4.72 down the line. And we just make an error on a routine ball on the softest turf ever. Am I saying that to kill our defender? No, what I'm saying is it's runner at third, 2 outs, and it's a 2-0 game, and we probably get the guy, and then we go and score, and the game has a whole different pulse. But we don't make the play. Now that freshman gives up a hit, walks a guy. We have to pull him. They get a blue base hit in center. And now it's 5-2, and it changes the whole vibe of the game. And I think, to me, that's something that we have got to find a way to do better. Whatever reason, our complementary baseball early in games. Now, we overcame it against Texas State. We did the exact same thing against Texas State. Go rewatch. We were up 3-0, and we dropped the fly ball to start the game, right? And guess what? We ended up giving up 2 runs in the first inning. Well, if you get the leadoff guy, that pitcher feels a different way. And I'm not saying this to bag on us. What I mean is if we make an error, pitcher needs to make a better pitch. If the pitcher doesn't make a good pitch, we need to make a better play. If we don't do this, we need to do that. And that, to me, is the part that I go back to it again. We have a choice in that. I really believe we have a choice, because say what you want. To me, it means that you're letting something that's outside of your control affect your performance, right? Oh man, here we go. We're walking a guy. Well, now you're not prepared mentally for what you're about to do, right? You don't get a close call and you let that affect your next pitch and you cement mix a pitch in the zone and it gets hit out, well, that's on you because you didn't just keep competing and fighting through. And to me, that's something that, compete's one thing, but doing your job's another. And we just got to do our job better.
It sounds very familiar to our team. And a lot of people said earlier in the season, man, Troy's down this year. They're going to be at the tee, or excuse me, we'll be on the road, but they're down a little bit this year. And I'm like, don't count Troy out, man, because they're a lot like us. And honestly, if everybody does their job, like you said, play complimentary baseball, when we're not the best, when we're not that top 25 team, it's when we're not doing all of the things that made us that top 25 team. And it's exactly what you're talking about right now. So I think our when you look at our rosters and our play so far this year, we're not that far off. I think we're very, very similar teams, which is why I think this weekend is going to be a dogfight between the two of us.
Oh, it will. I mean, there's no doubt. The if, ands, and buts are always intriguing. And I'm sure, I know whom you all have played and I know the deals. I don't know the story behind every game. Like I know the story of ours, but you're up 4-2 in the 7th inning against Southern Miss, going to be the first team to beat them on the road in league. And we lose a ball in the sun and we botch a ground ball and we end up losing 5-4. Like, what if that doesn't happen? How does that change? And I think the challenge, and guess what, man, I'm just being transparent with you guys, even as the head coach, right? Like you got to make sure it doesn't change what you know. And what you know is your team's going to be as prepared as anybody could ever be in college baseball. We have great players. Okay. It isn't like certain guys who have struggled suddenly became bums. They're not. They may have gone through struggle, but they have the opportunity to be their best self the last third. If a guy we have plenty of these. We have really good stuff on our staff. Do we need to button up some certain pitches and execution? Darn right. Guess what? That's my job. We'll get them better. We will put them in the greatest position possible. You have to almost accept a little bit if you just stay consistent and do your stuff. The chips are going to fall where they may. But anybody that doesn't think that both of our teams have tremendous skill set and talent and all world players, they just don't watch the games. And therefore I wouldn't even listen to their opinions, right? Like we both have that's why our teams are fun to watch, right? Like this has been fun since I got in this league. How great has it been? Like you look at the teams that have been up at the top each and every year, pretty darn good teams and they're pretty darn good organizations and they have a culture and an identity, I don't, if that doesn't change or if that stays the same, I think it's great for the league because you got a lot of big dogs that battle it out each and every year.
Yeah, it drives me crazy when they call us mid-major. There's nothing mid-major about Sunbelt. I mean, living in SEC country, just like you guys are, you have to fight that battle where it's just, little brother, all this stuff. But again, we beat you guys beat Georgia, we beat LSU. Like, we're consistently beating the, quote, big boys on a regular basis. Don't call us mid-major, man. I don't think that's what the Sunbelt Conference is.
Sunbelt is not. It's in there. Both numbers, eye test, it all matters. And, I think that we just need to make sure people that are in positions of power stays true to that and are aware of that. And no, this league's awesome, and I'm very proud to be in it. I can tell you that much.
Let's talk about this weekend. You got some, I think, where you guys have a definite advantage. I mean, you guys are hitting 40 points better than we are right now. But you look at the top hitters on your team. You've got Janicki, you've got Josh Pine, you've got Pasecki, and you've got Nelson all hitting over 300 this season. You guys, I think, doubled us as far as home runs go. You're not looking to bash the ball all around the field, but you can. And, we also got to talk about Blake Cavell. I would think he's a spark plug for the team. I seriously correlate his hiked up pants with wins because you notice he didn't have the hiked up pants against the Privateers. He did on Saturday when you swept that doubleheader. So I just got to say, how this weekend goes, I really think is based on how Blake Cavell wears his pants this weekend. What do you think?
Well, I'll have to dive in the analytics of that one. Man, it's fun, and I'll beat you all the. I know Blake's probably not a favorite amongst Louisiana fans for whatever reason, if people got an opportunity,
he did that last year when he scored. We kind of deserved it though, if I'm not lying.
Well, I think it's so funny too. I remember that incident. I love that kid, Torres. He's awesome.
Oh, isn't he awesome? Yeah.
What a winner. But like, if that is, and I mean like those two kids competing, a quick moment of like, okay, like whatever they said, I don't know what they said, but like, there's a lot like worse stuff going on, like in games.
I love it, man.
It's great. Are we not supposed to compete? Like I tell people all the time, competition can be ugly, but if you have the ability for it to not be real ugly, that's the sweet spot. I mean, every team in this league would take both of those kids.
Oh, let me tell you, he's one of my favorite players when he's not playing us. I cannot stand him when we play you guys next weekend, but it's funny watching him against I love watching the guy.
And
I love to have him on our team.
Well, and guess what? All the kids on all the other teams, they all talk to him. All the coaches love him. Perception's not always reality. You know what I'll say this just because I am candid, and nothing makes me more proud. And I've had a lot of people that are in the know that they go, hey, once people really dislike you, it means you've done something. People don't care about people that are bums.
Correct.
They don't. And so whether I'm the head coach, I'm going to get the brunt of things from time to time, especially based on whomever you play or whomever doesn't like you or thinks that you get whatever benefit of the doubt on whatever it may be, or in Blake's scenario or any players that we've had, like, that's a great thing. It means people are paying attention to you. And I know that I coach the sport of baseball, but we are entertainment. This is a podcast, right? This is what we call this.
Dude, that's what we do, man.
So this is entertainment, right? Baseball, we're not curing cancer. We're not fighting in the war. Our job is to provide entertainment to people, right? We just set another season ticket record. That's 5 straight years. 5 straight years I've been here. We've set a season ticket and revenue record. That's my job. Yeah, my job is to win games. Yeah, we've won a boatload of those too. Okay. That's why they keep coming back. But this is entertainment. Blake Covell is entertainment. He's got some greatness. He's got some goofiness. He's got some cringe sometimes. But I tell him all the time, you got to be who the heck you are. And that kid is who he is. That kid is one of the most consistent players I've ever coached. He comes out and loves the sport, loves to compete, loves the camaraderie every game. And anybody that doesn't appreciate that, doesn't understand what they're seeing, and it doesn't mean I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. You know how much I hated every Kentucky player? I watched a special on TV last night. They were showing the 1994 Kentucky LSU game when Kentucky was down 31 and came back. I remember all those Kentucky players. I hated them all. Andre Riddick and Travis Ford and Jeff Shepard. I hated all those guys. They're probably awesome people. They seem nice talking on here 30 years later. But I hated them as a kid because they played for Kentucky. So it's good that there's that disdain. But the reality is, I'm just glad that people are talking about Troy. That's good. I love that. And if it's slander, so be it. Are you going to be able to change people's opinions? No. If you care about that in our world, you're barking up the wrong tree.
I just had a light go off on top of my head, Lane. I am the Blake Cavell of UL bullshitting on Twitter, man. I'm telling you, I can make the entire LSU fan base. I think I've gotten death threats. I've been told if, certain people were alive and I was the last one, they'd kill me first. I mean, this is, it gets to that point where you just have to have thick skin and laugh about it. But honestly, look, Blake is, like you said, he's a guy. If he's on my team, I love him to death. But when he's on the other team, man, and by the way, he liked my tweets last year when I was giving him shit on Twitter. So I do respect that. If Blake's watching, I do respect that a little bit. Game respects game. So I appreciate that. Man.
He's an awesome kid, man. He's got named our athlete of the year here. Obviously the way the cycle of seasons work, 425, he just named our Troy athlete of the year. So very impressive kid. And I think his best ball is going to be this final third. I really do.
Yeah, but going back to hitting for you guys, because I go off on these weird tangents. But as far as being successful at the plate this season, again, you guys out homer us by, like I said, almost twice the number of homers that we've had this season. But it looks like you guys are really just trying to make contact, make something happen on the bases. You're not going to steal a whole lot. I think you've got like around 30, 35 steals so far this season. So we're at about 80. Your guys are not going to try to get it done on the base pass. You're really going to try to hit the ball. Talk to us a little bit about your offensive approach and what you expect from the top of the lineup this weekend.
Well, Ben Wolgamon, our associate head coach, he's done a tremendous job every year. You go look at the numbers, runs scored, the production. We've had homer years. We've had HBP years. We've led the league. We've had run years. We've led the league. We walk. You name it. We've been very diversified in what we can bring to the table. I think you're starting to see the best version of us offensively. We've kind of solidified and stuck with our lineup as we've kind of figured out what gives us the best opportunity to click. The guys you mentioned obviously are all very good hitters. Drew Nelson actually started last year a game at your all's place, but he'd become more of a hitter as he missed some
And he's
time.
also a pitcher, right? Yeah, like you were saying, two-way player.
Yeah, national two-way player of the week this past week for what he had done. But look, our guys, they have a very keen sense of the strike zone. I think our power is starting to trend up. The weather is obviously very warm and been blowing out a little bit too, which doesn't hurt. Not that they're cheapies, but our guys have been starting to do more, which we need. But we've run the bases really well. We're not going to ever be like a Coach Deggs team and, roll out 150 bags. Like that's just not us stylistically. And that's why everybody has their own deal. But we've been really good on first to thirds, scoring on gap balls, reading on misdirect plays. Like I've been impressed with that part, especially in the last couple of weeks. And so I like where our offense stands, and like I said, I still think we got some guys that their best ball is ahead of them, which gives me huge excitement because if you get the guys clicking at the right time, then you can really roll.
Coach, you mentioned Stubbs and Egan earlier when we were talking about Texas State. Can we expect those two guys to start this weekend, Friday and Saturday?
Yes. Yeah. It's funny. I probably need to text my SID to put that out, but yeah, we'll go with those two and then we'll TBA on Sunday, but we'll go Stubbs and Egan.
And is there anybody in the bullpen that you can rely on in a moment's notice to produce and get guys out?
It's interesting. I think we have some of the most impressive bullpen arms in the league in terms of their stuff. We got to have a little more consistency though, from some guys. And I know that it's there to be had. It's kind of we're one pitch away syndrome a little bit. But between Dylan Alonso, Zach Crotchfeld, Noah Thigpen, Cooper Ellingworth, we have guys with real arms, real stuff. Drew Nelson, now that he's in pitching, he's been really good. To me, if those guys are their best self, it's as good of a bullpen as there is in this league. No disrespect to anyone else. I know that some teams have guys that you could argue are better and they've performed better, but I'm talking as a collaborative whole or as a grouping. Like what we've had, look, I'm obviously sticking by it. It's the first year we've lost some leads late in games. But one thing we've built our identity on is, we've hit homers and we've had some, guys with real stuff or whatever. But, man, our bullpen, we've had nasty stuff. Go look last year. We got Jay Dill throwing Friday, Saturday night, throwing 96, 97 to close those two games. We had the Thigpen in there, that freshman last year throwing for a while, throwing 94, 95, and Colby Frieda, and you name it. Zach Fruit throwing 99 at your all's place back in 23, and Benny Thompson striking out 6 in 3 innings. And that guy led all of minor league baseball in strikeouts last year. Like, we've just had dudes in the bullpen. We just need our dudes to be dudes. And they just got to get through these outings the rest of the way. And I'm going to work my tail off to make sure that happens.
When you face a team like Louisiana, who it seems like for us getting timely hits, when we do, we're a really good team, but we struggle with that quite a bit this season. Is the message to your bullpen or to your pitching staff to attack the zone and see what happens at that point when we're going to try to play a little bit of small ball, we're going to try to run the bases, etc. But when your team is struggling offensively as we have throughout the season, is that the message that you're doing, is just attack the zone, challenge the batters, and then we can make adjustments along the way?
It is. But I almost don't know if that messaging is so different for, let's say facing you guys as it would be anyone else. I do think that part almost has to stay the same. I think you need to understand the consequences though, right? You're playing at Texas State and you go freebie city and walk guys like one ball up, an 88-mile-an-hour ball is going to get in the jet stream and it's gone. You come out and you're ill-equipped and you don't throw your warm-up pitch as well, and you walk a leadoff guy. For you guys, he's going to try to steal second base, and then they're going to bunt, and they're going to, I think you more maybe explain the consequences of action, but you obviously frame it in a positive way per what we are good at, right? Like, hey, you are good at this versus this, just stay within your character. And so, but I think sometimes a little bit of that's opponentless, because guess what? If you don't execute pitch to pitch, which to me, you asked about the bullpen stuff. I think ours with the bullpen aspect, it's guys keeping their bandwidth through the end of it. Sometimes I think we're not letting ourselves get to the end of that outing. We're one focal, spot away from finishing, and maybe we're not. And to me, that means either guys got to get in and get out quicker, or they have to elevate their level of thoughtfulness pitch to pitch as they try to, navigate those most important pitches, which happen the last 3-4 innings of games.
Coach, you mentioned it a little bit just now, but the Cajuns they started out strong with, I believe, a 16-5 record, and then they kind of more or less fell off a little bit. What challenges do you think the Cajuns bring outside of the small ball aspect?
Well, look, I've been impressed with the pitching staff. Obviously, what the Herman kid has continued to do has been kind of a wow. You guys got a couple real bullpen pieces. I think the defense is incredibly athletic. I'm not going to sit here and everybody makes mistakes. I know there's going to be some where you're like, well, yeah, but they made this mistake and it hurt. Well, I get that, but man, a lot of, athleticism out there that, you're not going to be gift wrap things. And so, but I think we've been hyper aware as to what Louisiana is since we walked into this league. And while the names and the people batting in the 3-hole, the names change, it's still going to be complete compete from the first pitch of the weekend to the last. And to me, I think that's why we've played. I think Louisiana versus Troy have been some of the most, easily remembered games. Look, let's not kid ourselves. In 24, if we're one swing, we make that comeback, we're one swing away from having the league lead, with 2 weeks to go. And then, Louisiana fights in that 10th inning and finds a way and end up winning, a crazy game to take the final game of the series after we'd won the first two. And you're like, but it was such a memorable game, and it parlayed Louisiana to winning the league that year and us not. But I just think all the games have been great. Even last year, that first game, with the strikeout catcher interference in the game, whether you agree or disagree with the call, it was a memorable game because it was a 4-3 Friday night game. Our All-American hits a homer, the starters were good. The bullpens were nasty. It was just great baseball. And I think that's what we're going to see this weekend. It's just, what you're going to get. I said it once, I'll say it a million times. You can think whatever you want on Coach Deggs. If you're a coach, how great he prepares his team and how hard his team's going to compete within those lines.
Just a couple more for you, and then we'll let you go, Coach, because I could talk baseball with you all day, man. I've had to hold back from so many follow-up questions, but I do want to say Riddle Pace is not easy to hit the ball out right field. I hate that wall, man. It's robbed us of so many home runs on so many days. So if you could work on that for me before this weekend, that would be appreciated. But I think it's going to be a dogfight this weekend, Coach. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we've got two very passionate fan bases. Do you expect a big crowd this weekend?
Well, we have DeMarcus Ware throwing out the first pitch Friday, so that'll get people.
Hell, I might drive over there for that. You kidding me?
And of course, we've been gone so much this year. People are chomping at the bit for us to play at home. So Friday night will be fun. You all know this. Our Saturdays are our best days because we play that afternoon time slot. The youth baseball and softball and all these other sports are done earlier in the day. We have our new basketball coach, Coach Howard, throwing out the first pitch Saturday. Saturday here we have a thing called T-Day, which is our football, I guess this way. They got they have their final spring practice, and then bring their whole team, their whole coaching staff. So I think it'll be pandemonium over here. I hope. I think it'll be. I mean, I'm sure there'll be some fun in the outfield going on, as it always is out here in Doubles Alley. So yeah, it should be a good time. I was looking at some video not too long ago, and when you guys were here in 24, that Saturday crowd was one of the best atmospheres that I've ever experienced here. So hopefully it's more of the same for us, and hopefully we give them good baseball to get jacked up about.
And hopefully we keep the fight on the field this year and not in the stands. No in the stand stuff. We'll keep it on the field this year, right?
Yes, let's hope.
All right, final question I have for you. This one's a fun one. You know, I was talking about my friend Blake Cavell and his pants. He hikes them up sometimes. Sometimes they're down. Might be a superstitious thing. Do you have any superstitions? Look, I feel like all baseball players have some kind of superstition thing that they do every game. Do you have any?
How long do we have on this thing? I've never crossed the white line with my left foot. I've always crossed with my right. That's for my whole life. I mean, you know, I have some stuff in terms of the cadence of where I put things in between innings. I mean, just to name a few. Yeah, I mean, I had them as a player too, as you, of course, would imagine, whether it was playing a position or pitching. There were certainly things that you kind of did. So, and I think there's a difference too between superstition and routine, right? Like I think crossing the line with my right foot, I don't know why I do it, but I just always have. That would be more superstition. Whereas, you know, tapping the bat on your head 3 times to know your hands are in place, which really has no effect, is more of a superstition, because it really is not, you know, like routine, superstition, they blend sometimes. But yeah, the line thing and where I set my pen or pencil in between innings and stuff like that is yeah, those would be a couple.
I like that. Coach, again, it's been a pleasure. Just promise me next year when you guys are back in Lafayette, we'll share a beer or something, maybe some crawfish, whatever we're doing out in the tailgate. You can bring Cavell if he's still around, you know, in some capacity. I'd love to meet the guy, but best of luck to you guys this weekend. May the best team win, and hope we get to watch some good, clean almost said football, baseball. It's not quite that time of the year yet, man, but some good, clean games with some good defense and some great plays. I look forward to it.
Absolutely. No, I hope the same. Just hopefully the only difference is I hope it's just with a little better on the Troy side. You know what I mean, boys?
No, we don't know what you mean. Thanks again, Coach. Appreciate you.
Fellas, you guys have a great day. Thank you again.
All right.